were missed here. One of them was too close to arm.
Fired his lat from like 10 feet away from one of the MTLBs. It would have been perfect if he'd been another few feet away. But it was just too close to that arming distance.
This means that more than likely, the U.S. are probably out of lats at this point. Given the casualties that have come up.
I don't think the MTLBs have fired any shots really, though. So the U.S. can just kind of babysit them. So I'm not really sure what the plan is at this point in time.
Yeah, U.S. squad lead getting within like 10 meters of this MTLB. Who, as you can tell, is oblivious.
Hey, MTLBs are kind of prowling around like big noisy animals, and the U.S. just know, well, there's not much we can do about them while they're in that armor. They can just
even offering up a complete rear shot here. Sometimes this happens.
They don't have any more rockets remaining.
Yep. Sometimes this happens when it comes to operations. Here we go. Our GM has ruled. Russians have 5 minutes to attack and win.
They have 4 men, 2 MTLBs, and 5 minutes. Well, actually, you know what? Since you could destroy FOB radios by the bullets from the vehicles, they could just go set up somewhere where they could shoot in to the radio and just keep shooting it.
There's an MTLB on the footbridge now. And, of course, can you climb those stairs? That's a good question. Oh, they cut the engine. Oh, here we go.
Oh, D-Leak just got out. Doesn't know there's 2 Americans under the bridge. Oh, and he got back.
They're going to turn the engine on, and he's going to get out.
Oh, and C-Line
directly destroyed.
D-Leak is just all confused. Oh,
D-Leak gets right back in, tries to shoot.
Oh, he's going to get his revenge, though. Or he's going to try.
He's got no depression on that gun.
Well, he's aiming for the guy across the moat. He's trying to figure out where that AR gunner was, because he saw the tracers.
Shooting through the bridge as if that's going to help him.
At this point, you just have to charge in.
I think he's going to try to charge the stairs here. Oh, what is he? Okay. He's cutting them off, but there's a... Yeah, this is not...
Oh! Whoa. Liberal Pundit gets the guy that was about to get him in the back. It's a good teammate assist there, but D-Leak goes down to... Looks like... Night Ghost or Izzy Beast, working as a good little buddy team there.
And now it's just one MTLB against the world.
And all of the American is staring at it, waiting for him to get out.
Now they're throwing smokes at him.
Yeah, how to piss off an MTLB 101. Just throw smokes at it until it gets
There goes another one down. MTLB gets another kill.
And that's Izzy the best. That is unfortunate if he just waited him out.
Now they're throwing frags in all the smokes they can throw. Anything that can go.
They're trying to encourage Liberal to get out.
I think he still has a gunner in there with him. I could be wrong.
No, it looks like it's just Liberal.
Oh, here goes.
He makes it out. Oh,
surviving for a long time.
American, and he's hiding in the grass.
He is prone on the ground.
They don't know he got out.
He is.
I really hope he tries to get like a bayonet kill, like super.
There we go.
Oh Oh,
Night Ghost
that's
sees him
unfortunate.
when he comes through, gives him a few knives.
That is GG. So all the Russians are down. The Americans have successfully defended against this very aggressive Russian push. We're going to go ahead and take a few minutes integration here, play a couple cool videos, and get ready for round 2 of this event. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Welcome back, guys. We're in our intermission between the two sides. We in operations, we always play both sides. We give everyone a chance to see what it's like to be on the side. Let's take a look at what happened that last round. So, Silent, the commander, decided to YOLO straight into Herman Castle. What he did was he threw his two MTLBs and his transport with two squads. Basically, they started straight out of Maine. The next thing we saw was US push a couple of squads out, which was kind of their saving grace, and it kind of wasn't. The US pushed a couple squads out. They pushed a squad out in the hills, in the rocks. These are the rocks that we were seeing that MTLB go around earlier. And these apartment buildings here were able to intercept these infantry squads that were heading for, this is what we call the train depot area. Intercept the train depot. There were two squads that dismounted there. One went north and destroyed those lodges. The other one went south and sort of got bogged down by the infantry that were in this building right here. And of course, the next thing to happen was they tried to push in. This northern U.S. force pivoted around towards the roundabout. They were on those rocks where you saw the MTLB go around. And we saw the Russian forces here. They were coming across the footbridge. The footbridge would be about there, and try to scale the side of the castle. Not really effective. Not really happening. And that was the major tactic in a nutshell. Of course, it all came down to shooting at that point, and it didn't turn out very well for the Russians.
All right. So, as you saw in the trailers that we played during the intermission, we have a new campaign coming up called the Belarusian Pivot. It's a campaign that's going to be running all Memorial Day weekend. So our Friday, Saturday, or both Saturday events and a Monday event will all kind of tie together. And so what we're going to end up having is basically every operation, the outcome will affect future operations in the campaign. So it should be for a lot of fun, a lot of kind of crazy events when we do these special operations like this. So it's going to be kind of a very long-winded, well, not long-winded, but a really long-running, 4-session long event that's split up amongst the 4 sessions. So you get a lot of players in, and we're playing it all on a custom map made in the community. And this map is a heavily forested pass. Forgetting the name of it at the moment.
Balkan Pass.
Oh, the Balkan Pass, yes. So it should be a ton of fun to play on a community-made map that's been modded into the game. And we're going to use it and do all of this entire event on this custom map. And the map maker knows about it, and he's very excited to see what we can do with it.
Yep, one just made a pretty good map. Like in the hills, there's a lot of wide open engagement areas that are sort of like bookended by these forests. And the forests themselves are a little bit of a challenge to engage through too. You could probably have, enemy squads or squads that are, on the opposite teams running within about 100 meters of each other. Oh my God, words. And they may not be able to see each other at all. So it really comes down to, executing tactics well and just being aware. Just situational awareness is key.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to play. And the main document that kind of governs how the campaign will go and all the different missions hasn't been released yet. Our mission planner Expert is kind of purposely holding that back a little bit and getting it very well polished, but also kind of keeping us all in suspense to the last moment. And then we have to plan things more or less on the fly as kind of part of the campaign, is we don't really know what's happening next until a few hours or maybe a day before the event that happens. So it should be a very interesting set of missions. If you have the basic tags, if you come join us in our events, this is going to be a very special, fun weekend for them.
Do it.
And I hope to see a lot of players out there.
Not to mention it's holiday weekend, so come on out. Play some games.
Yeah, Bcarr, have you done many of the past campaigns we've done?
I've played in one, and It was when I was still pretty new to squad ops, and I was trying to sign up for one of them, and I was trying to figure out, like, are these all different? Like, what happens if I don't sign up for them all to play them all? And yeah, but it
Was
was
that
a pretty
on
interesting
Balea?
experience. That was on Balea.
Oh yeah, that was a little bit of a not well balanced campaign. Oh no, Russian negligent discharge, fail.
Story of Russian or story of Indy's life. Like any guy that Indy's, I mean, just makes me sad inside.
Oh yeah,
Just take your
but
finger
yes,
off the buttons of the mouse, my dudes, for
that's
future.
why I take my shovel out, and people make fun of me for this, but oftentimes in the events I will charge into battle with my shovel out until I'm like 90% of the way there, and I think there might be bad guys around. Then maybe I'll pull out my gun.
Yeah, I mean,
Shadow in the background is saying he'd even make fun of me for that one, so apparently I'm not alone. So we'll go over commands real quick. The Russians for this engagement will be all in blue, and the Americans will all be in red, but the teams have switched. So the Russian commander for this round is Stormfront, and his SLs are the Iron Tyrant in charge of his 4th squad, Burns in charge of his 3rd squad, Squad 2 is going to be run by Sugar, and Squad 1 is going to be run by one of our newest regs, Seabass. For the Americans, it's going to be Silent commanding, and his squad leaders are Krusty, in charge of Squad 1, Creeping, in charge of Squad 2, Remick, in charge of Squad 3, and Silas, in charge of Squad 4. It's kind of a really interesting team composition, because on the American team for this round, we have a lot of very old time, kind of older ops members. They've been here for quite a long while. There's a lot of experience there. Whereas on the Russian team, you have kind of a newer commander, a lot of the newer regulars that have started SLing. Burns has been one of those longtime ops members, but he hasn't been around for a couple of months. So it's kind of he's kind of like a pseudo new player with the new mechanics that V11 and V10 have brought us. So it's kind of a real interesting dynamic to see new versus old. So tonight's operation is Operation Rook, and the entire goal of this operation is the Americans have set up a fob in the castle on the map of Narva, and the goal of the Russians is to get in there and take out that castle. The Americans can run 2 logistics trucks for the duration of the operation, but it's kind of difficult because of how far away the U.S. main is now from that castle. So they can run lodges, build up a large fob, they can run mortars off that fob. The Russians, they get 2 MTLBs and a trans truck from the beginning, and there's also a logi that got lost at the gas station in the center of the map. That gas station is at the Echo 4-6 area. It's that blue Cree oil gas station there. And basically, it's kind of a side mission. They can go and collect that logi, which is full of enough supplies for 2 full mortar teams, and they can go pick up even more ammo from their main. So,
yeah, the Logi truck not used last round. I imagine it will be used this round. Stormfront rather meticulous when it comes to plans. I imagine this one will be complicated, or well, not that it's a bad thing, but I imagine that any assault on the castle from Stormfront is going to use mortars.
yeah, Storm is a very entertaining commander to go against. I've played against him quite a few times lately, and he's always very meticulous. Tries to use all of his assets to the best of his ability. It looks like the Russians are about to pull together for their platoon brief, and we'll be listening in as soon as they're all done forming up.
Oh, and by the way, we saw in chat here, squad. Someone said Physics Cat in Twitch chat says, "I wish squad devs would implement a safety fire mode on the guns so that you could just switch it instead of the safety shovel." Lol. There's 2 words. There's 2 words that come to mind, and those are dumb people.
Yeah, the
And
best safety in
players
the
will
world is
never.
their thumb.
Yeah, I mean, like, dumb people will be like, "What's the button for the safety?" You're gonna hear that a million times, my dude, and it's never gonna go away. So forget a safety, my dude. Just tell people to be not bad. Just tell
All
people
right,
to keep your button off the. Yeah, I
yeah,
just
the
have to get
Russians are
off my
starting their
chest.
brief
We're going
now.
to fight for Mother Russia. So, basic plan. We were pushed out hastily by a U.S. force that we did not know the size of. We now know that it is about a platoon-sized element that is pushed up and set up a forward outpost at the Herman Castle. Now, basically, it's a heavily fortified position. I expect a lot of resistance out there. And in our haste, we left behind our Logi truck. What I've planned with your squad leaders today is basically we're going to have Burns and his squad set up a base of fire across the river on the walls. They're going to be a big distraction for the enemy force, trying to snipe in them without getting sniped themselves. Do not overexpose yourself. Expect to be in a prolonged firefight with the enemy, and expect to maybe get pushed and have casualties. Squad 1 and Squad 2 will be coordinating with their MT. They're going to ride in a transport truck up to the top bridge up here, and they're going to push top down on the village proper. They're in charge of the assault down there, and you're just going to push in the village, take it from the enemy. Expect heavy contact at split quarters combat. Do not pause. If you pause, you die out there, just because you will have flame this direction. If you pause, you die. I'm going to repeat one more time. You stop pushing them, you're going to die. So keep pushing forward through that contact. While the 3 squads that aforementioned are doing that mission, we're going to have Iron Tyrant and his squad push up to the railroad crossroads at the sniper mark. We're going to hold up there until the main village combat is underway. Once we have the enemy team good and distracted and they're pulling back their reinforcements to attack village, we're going to sneak up, grab the Logi truck, and set up a mortar pit here to the north of power plant. Marking the location on your maps now. Once we get there, we're going to pause. Once we've cleared the village, we're not going to push up on the rocks and engage the castle directly. Once you have taken village is secured. We have our base of fire still over here with Burns. The MTLBs are doing whatever they're doing. We're going to take our mortars and we're going to blast the crap out of them. Once we are sure the enemy is nice and soft, because we can just sit here and do Logi runs all day. Once we're sure that the enemy is nice and soft, we're going to go ahead and walk our infantry over their dead corpses. Any questions?
Did someone just try and sneak in a "that's what she said" joke?
No. Alright, so go ahead, HML.
I have a question.
Alright, since squad 1 and 2 are taking both MTOBs and the transport, why can't they just load up why can't they load up in the MTOBs and give the transport to squad 4? So squad 4
squad 4 is going to be moving slow.
We're slow and silent.
Also, MTOB, one of them is going not with the group. One of them is going far.
Your job is not the reason why. Your job is just to do or die.
I saw another question over here.
Yeah, how much time exactly do we have to secure the fob?
Until the map hits 0. Okay.
Until we win.
If you are the last guys alive and you're in the MTLBs and you have no comms with anyone else, please just hop out of the MTLB and try and secure the area with your rifle. Copy that?
Alright.
Copy.
Roger.
Alright.
Oh wait.
Have a good round, guys. Stay safe. Kill them all.
Let's win it. Let's do it.
Alright, we're ready for live.
I'm from Buenos Aires, and I say
All right,
Love
so
how
we
you
just
come and
listened
do.
in on the Russian brief here. There's a lot of constructive questions asked there of Stormfront soldiers at the end.
Yeah.
The Russians have a pretty straightforward plan here. Well, it's a little bit complicated. I can pull up on the map. So they're putting that squad on the east side of the river to provide fire support across the river, which we haven't seen yet on this operation since that is new with V10. I'll be really interested to see how effective they are. And while that's going on, he has all the rest of his squads kind of providing distractions or engaging outside of the castle. And at a point later on, they'll all collapse in. Seems a little complicated, but it'll also be really interesting to see how well it plans out for him.
Yeah, complicated plans. We weren't expecting anything less from Storm. I do like the mortar position. I think hopefully they'll be able to, get some use out of the mortars, because that would be really cool, considering last round they didn't. The toll booth sort of siege location, I know it can be effective, but it's going to be pretty exposed before they get their guys out there. And also, you're going to have, all the U.S. squad leaders with binocs at the castle are going to be like, "Hey, they're driving up the East Road. What's going on, man? This is freaking me out." So it would just be dependent on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that squad in the east, though, is going to be hiking, if I understood it correctly. They're going to walk out there.
Oh, you're right.
So it'll kind of be a timed approach, and then the MCLBs are hitting the castle from the north side, and I think his plan is to get the U.S. command to all think they're north, and kind of north and northeast while they sneak and get in there, get the mortars all set up.
Yeah, timing pushes, I guess we can call them timing pushes like this, haven't really been done in squad ops, as far as I've been able to see them from admin cam like this, since I've been staff. But it could really just be the right, if the timing works out, it's the right time, everything sort of clicks together. It could be a pretty big wallop when it comes time to crack down on the castle.
Yeah, it seems to be the exact opposite strategy of Silent. The Silent's plan last time was very much speed and aggression, and this one seems to be more of a, I wouldn't say laid back, but a very pragmatic, very step by step, get everything ready, get everyone set before we do that last lunge at the castle. And we just have a lifetime set of 137. So that is about 2 minutes
away
from now.
We see Russia here. It looks like the troop transport. Oh, it's full. They got an MTLB right here. It looks like Aethel is driving that guy. And here's Squad 4. Squad 4 plus someone else looks like right here. They're hanging out on the railroad tracks, like a bunch of
Squad
like a bunch of
4 is
people
in
that
charge
are
of stealing that logi, and I think they're hiking out there to it.
for stealing the logi. That's pretty brutal. And where's the other
That's
MTLB?
a bit of a hike. Their other MTLB is just between the two bridges or two buildings on the rail track. It's kind of hidden in there.
It's going to try to jet out the railroad. I see what's going on here, I think.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what happens here. I haven't really been keeping up with the American plan. It's kind of hard to keep up with both the briefs at the same time, so I'm not really sure what their entire plan is going to end up being. Taking a quick look at the maps on the marks on the map, it looks like they're going to put a squad overwatching the logi, and they're going to put maybe a squad or two north on the rocks overlooking the castle. Because if you can't control those rocks, it's a lot easier to pin down everyone in the castle. So it'll kind of be interesting to see what happens with the American defense this round.
See how much they put towards that logi and see how big of a force they use to attack. Or at least maneuver. I don't know. And here we go.
We are live. Man, I feel bad for this Squad 4 having to hoof it. That is a long hike across the half of the map, practically.
Following the troop transport, they're going straight onto the railroad northeast of the Russian main. MTLB right behind it. But two squads sort of out in the open. They're getting pretty close